say that instant payment should be 24/7, 365. Today, it's Saturday, it's Sunday, and my bank is closed. I can't make payments. I have to wait until Monday for the processing, etc. With instant payments, Sunday and every time you can make the payment. What does it mean for the IT systems? The downtime you have, what does it mean for the people? Working councils, you have some laws, sometimes you can't work on Sunday. What does it mean? How can you organize this if the payment should be processed in the way we just discussed in 10 seconds in every day?
I live in the UK. I have my bank accounts in the UK. I've had faster payments for 8 years now. It's normal life in the UK. I can sit down on a Saturday morning and do all my payments on a Saturday morning if I choose to, or a Sunday evening at 9:30 at night. People have different lifestyles, so it's about accommodating those requirements and the way that people now live. I think in terms of how does the bank therefore react to that, we still do see the vast bulk of transactions will still go through Monday to Friday. That's just a factor of how most of us live our lives. I think it takes a very long time before we actually start to see people behaving on a Sunday as they do on a Wednesday. There are many questions around how do you staff the back office around this, and I think that that's a learning experience for most organisations, and it will require talking to customers and trying to figure out who is going to use it. I would observe that the vast majority of organisations currently that operate cards systems, that operate ATM functionality, they are working 24/7 already. The question to me is how can you optimise that approach and say, okay, so now I'm going to add a product or service to that capability. How can I leverage what I've already got? How can I use what's there? And what is the difference that makes for my organisation? On the plus side, your customers are engaging with you over the weekend. Maybe they didn't before. Maybe they went off and used another supplier during the weekend. Maybe they went off and did something else. Maybe they stopped spending money. We've started to see peer-to-peer transactions on weekends and Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights. A bunch of people go to the pub. One person buys the drinks. Everybody's paying each other. There's all sorts of interesting things that come out of this. But I don't think, with most of it, it's internet, it's mobile, it's digital. I think one of the observations we really have noticed is the vast majority of financial organisations run their fraud departments Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. That is not sustainable.
No.
So it does look more like the cards model where you have to have somebody doing fraud monitoring 24/7.
Sure. If not, it won't work.
Absolutely. But also customers don't have the tolerance levels anymore. So if something does happen on my account, if I phone up the bank and I find that actually they're only open between 9 to 5, Monday to Friday,
there's no acceptance anymore.
It's not really good enough anymore. So to me, it's a cultural mindset. It's changing.
In your opinion, instant payment and implementing it at bank level, is it a huge project? Will the banks have the resources and the time to do it? And when should they start if they want to adhere at Q4 17 or Q1 18?
The sooner you start to understand your own organisation, what your organisation is capable of doing, what your resources, what your resource plan looks like, what other parallel projects that you have to take on at the same time. We all know that the vast majority of organisations are working on regulatory and mandatory projects at the moment, and there is very little bandwidth to spend on arbitrary, non-mandatory projects. So in terms of trying to figure out what is the impact likely to be, is there a business case for your organisation? Is it an enabler? Is it something, where do you sit in that quadrant of, am I defending territory? Am I trying to comply with something that I perceive my local central bank is probably going to tell me to do anyway? Do I have to keep up with everyone else in my market? Am I trying to dominate my market? Or am I trying to defend my market share? So once you go through that process of trying to figure out where are you on that spectrum, that may determine how much effort and time you throw at the project. But I think essentially the project is probably very similar inside most organisations, and it does require quite a lot of detailed planning and detailed analysis to identify where do you really have to make the change.
So it's a huge task, I think, and a huge project for the market, the whole European market and the banks. And what I do think it's very important and interesting that you said start with the strategic perspective first. Look on the opportunities, look what does it mean for your business models and products and how to tackle it. And secondly, then to start to look what does it mean to implement it from the processes, the checks, the fraud, the AML, the system, the clearing, the liquidity, the risk management, etc., etc. I think there are a lot of stuff to do. But I agree with you, it's a huge opportunity for the European market, and we recommend the banks to go that way. Liz, it was very, very interesting this discussion. We could talk hours and hours and hours. But for today, I think what's very interesting, thank you very much for being here in Frankfurt. Very much appreciated. Looking forward to meet you next time, I don't know where, Australia, Singapore, or anywhere. Thank you.
Thank you, Sven.